Anderson, Manchester United. Could it be a match made in heaven? Now, we're seeing a valuation on Elliot Anderson's head top of £100 million. 100 M's. And listen, I really like Elliot Anderson. I think he'll be a great signing for us. I think he'll be a perfect signing. I like Adam Wharton. Baleba, obviously a good player, but he's not in good form right now. So with him, I want a loan with an option to buy. But 100 M's, bro. And the problem that we've got here is that these players are worth what the clubs say they are. Declan Rice, the same thing happened at West Ham. Nobody talks about the price tag anymore because he's gone on to live up to the expectation. The same with Caicedo. People, again, spoke about the price tag at the beginning, but he's now started to show that. But I feel uncomfortable, guys. 100, the market's gone crazy. 100 M's is just too much. If that's the case, the scouts better get scouting. Go Liga. Go Liga. Get me one of them type of man there who can run around, win the ball back and all of that stuff, all that good stuff for like 35 million or something. Or do we just start paying the money? Do we just pay the premium, guys? Let me know what you lot are saying. We want Baleba, we want Wharton, we want Elliot Anderson, we want these type of next-gen guys that understand the league. Should we be paying 100 M's, though?
My goodness me, Flex. This was quite an interesting one coming from our good friend, Florentine Plettenberg, who said that Manchester United and Newcastle are just two of many top clubs closely monitoring Elliot Anderson. Their interest, interestingly, has already been registered. So we've already, I don't know if that's to Forest, probably to the player, and it was his agent.
Yeah, probably.
I've said that, hey, we're interested in him. Forest, of course, they're aware. He's a key player for them and Sean Dyche. And understand, according to Florian Plettenberg, for a transfer in the summer, a fee of around 100 to 120 million pounds, not euros, pounds, is currently being demanded. There is no release clause. 100 to 120 million pounds for Elliot Anderson, Fleck. I mean, what has happened to the market in the Premier League, right? We're getting quoted 100 million pound for Carlos Baleba last summer. We're getting quoted for possibly 100 million pound for Elliot Anderson next summer. I mean, and we saw with Carlos Baleba, not that Saturday's a complete indication of how good he's going to be in the future or anything like that. But there was this kind of feeling of, well, he's not a £100 million player right now. That's for certain, But then, what is a £100 million player nowadays? Like, what does that?
Could he go on
mean?
to be one?
Yeah, like what does that mean? Like, I don't know. What is value for money when you spend £100 million? Like we said with Carlos Baleba in the summer, that's breaking Manchester United's all-time record transfer. If you sign someone from £100 million, not euros, got Pogba for 100 million euros, which is like 80-ish million quid, something like that. £100 million.
It's gone mad.
You're gonna have to be getting someone that like is both kind of proven, but also has got way to go, instant impact, like.
Exactly, bro.
Elliot Anderson. I really like Elliot Anderson, and I like Carlos Baleba, but could you imagine the pressure that would come with that? Like, oof.
Exactly.
I do need to get Barry Fry.
You do that. This is Barry Fry territory, bro. Like, again, I agree with everything you said. Listen, you guys seen what I was saying for Elliot Anderson before these links were this Plettenberg link and the club apparently sounding him out. I said from a couple months ago, however long it was. You see Elliot Anderson, he's proper good, Like, I think he could. We keep talking about Baleba, we keep talking about Wharton, but I'd have Anderson, me. And I like him. I absolutely like him. So I'm not going to change that or backtrack on that. He's a good player. The problem is the market. The problem is the clubs that can say, this is what he is. We saw Caicedo go for that. And he turned out to be it. We saw Declan Rice go for that. Now, yes, the amount of work that Elliot Anderson's put in this league is not the same as what Declan Rice had put in by the time he reached there. Declan Rice had won a European trophy at West Ham. He'd had probably, I want to say, hundreds of appearances for West Ham, maybe.
Well, it was that. It was the captain. West Ham were qualifying, did he have, like you said. They were winning European trophies. They were also, people forget just because of how bad West Ham are now, but for a few seasons there under David Moyes.
They were good.
They didn't qualify for the Champions League, but they were in and around it all the time.
Yeah.
They were in and around that
good,
sort of top four race, all the time during that time period. And like I said, Rice captain, win a European trophy. He was also playing regularly for
245 games, bro, in the Prem. He'd put 245 games together on the Prem, getting in the England team, smashing
Euros
it. Now,
final.
Euros final. Elliot Anderson, but that was at Arsenal. Euros final.
No, first one.
Oh, the first one. Sorry, the first one. My bad. Sorry, the first one. Oh, yeah. Well, Gareth Southgate was so good. We got to 2. Exactly, Euros final. So from that, like, he's been putting in the work. You could see glimpses that this guy is very, very special. And a sustained period of evidence to suggest that. Elliot Anderson is at the beginning of that. He's at the beginning of that. How many appearances has he even had in the Prem? Because last year, the year before when he was at Newcastle, he was like not used all the time. I know that much. And last year was his first year at Forest, right? Was he there last year? Yeah, he was there last year.
Yeah, moved in 2024.
Yeah.
Overall, I think something like 44 appearances for Newcastle.
So he's only played. Elliot Anderson has played 90 games in the Premier League, not even 100 games. Now, obviously, by the end of this season, that will be 100 games across 2 teams. But he played 55 games for Newcastle, and he's just about to hit 55 for Forest. So he's literally half-half. And I just think we have to be careful, going in and paying that type of money. Now, the problem that you've got is the premium that happens if he continues to have a good season, keep starting for England, go to the World Cup with England, start for England, which is possible. Sometimes these connotations change. They do. If Forest start picking up results with Dyche, or even if they don't, but Anderson's just the guy, and then he starts for England go far. Again, forget the 100. Like I said, probably be more the 120. But if Forest get relegated, like Ridwan says, and have a shit season, and he starts belaboring where he does all right, but he hasn't had the best of seasons because it's been really troubling. It's been traumatic, troublesome at Forest, a lot of change. And he's still getting to the England team. Whatever, it can change. So I just think it's still crazy money, though, for a player that by the end of this season will probably have in the Prem. Well, how many? Yeah, he's played 55. So this season we've only played 9 games. So he played probably all 38. So he's got about another 37 games to go-ish. He would have played just over, and he's already played 90. So 90 plus the 30. He would have played about 120 games in the Prem. 130 games.
I think.
I don't know.
Yeah,
man. It's way too much.
I think if Man United did sign Elliot Anderson in the summer, that we're not going to spend 100 million, 120 million. I just, under this regime, we saw even last summer with the Mbumo, Cunha. Cunha was a bit different because it was release clause, but particularly Mbumo, to an extent with Šeško. All of those deals are in and around. All of those deals are still in and around 60 plus add-ons. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Add-ons maybe rise to 70, 100 million. I just can't see this regime doing that they're just trying to sort of steer away. They're always trying to keep in that ballpark of somewhere between that kind of 40, 50, 60, 70, in and around that. And like 70 is the max with add-ons. You know what I mean? That you kind of feel like that's the sort of territory that they're looking in. It's quite clear to see that there is a sort of pool of midfielders we're looking at, isn't it? We're linked to, well, not even linked. We wanted Baleba in the summer, which was not possible to do. We're continuously linked with Adam Wharton, and it does feel like with that one, doesn't it, of he might already have a bit of a sort of gentleman's agreement with Palace that he can leave this coming summer. So we'll be in the race for him, no doubt. And then obviously Elliot Anderson is another name because he's been really impressive in the league at the moment. And you kind of forget with him as well, don't you, that him moving to Forest in the first place was only because Newcastle literally had to. Otherwise, they were going to be in big PSR trouble. That was at the time which Elliot Anderson goes to Forest for like 35 million. And who was the goalkeeper? Was it Vlachodimos from?
Yeah, you have to go there for big money, like 20 million.
Newcastle for big money. Everyone knew he wasn't worth that, and it was just like it's a workaround of PSR. So, I think that I just can't see United spending that money. And Stiller's another one we're interested in. So I think if we had those concerns about who are United going to be going after, what positions are United going to be going after in January, and also the summer, it's definitely midfielders. We're clearly looking at midfielders, which is good because our midfield needs a lot of work. But I suppose that kind of steers us into the next discussion about it with midfield, because I tell you what, Flex, I thought it was really interesting last night on the red carpet how much that Casemiro debate sort of generated.
A big thing, man. Yeah,
it generated a lot of discussion across the panel about if he's world class still, if he's good or not, if should he even stay, or what would the conditions be for him to possibly stay. He's our best midfielder we've got, which I do agree with. I've been saying that for several weeks, that he's our best midfielder. But I also say that that's kind of indictment of where we are in terms of our midfield options in 2025. But that whole midfield discussion, that's gonna rumble on.
It is, and it feels, and you know what? And people are forgetting, right? And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being honest.
Yes, you are. You fake fan.
Yeah, I'm just going to be a fake fan for a minute.
Go to talk shite and never come back, mate. Yeah,
exactly. I'm just going to get back to basics. Get back to negativity,
share your
clicks
opinion.
and likes.